Hey everyone, welcome to Marketing for Designers podcast. I'm your host, Masha Coyne, a messaging strategist and a copywriter for the interior design industry. I've been marketing for what feels like forever in my past career at some of the biggest global firms like KPMG and Deloitte. Today, I write website copy for designers using my signature voice of customer framework. If you're a designer looking to up your marketing game and attract premium clients, this podcast is for you. Each week on the show, we're going to be talking all things marketing, from branding to messaging to social media, SEO, and so much more. So you can have all the tools you need to grow your business and attract your dream clients. Welcome back to Marketing for Designers podcast. So here's the thing. Every day I click on Instagram app and without a fail, without a doubt, I see today's guest, because we're friends on Instagram, showing up regularly, consistently, and with great content. There's always something interesting in her feed. There's updates on what's going on in her business, information about the upcoming trainings and workshops she runs. Lately, she's been chatting about her podcast, AI for Interior Designers, which also happens to be the topic of conversation for today. There are posts about demos of her design in action. There's her beautiful work, always with thoughtful captions. All of it is usually accompanied by trendy music, trendy sounds, catchy imagery, smart voiceovers, funny voiceovers, or all of the above. One thing that's clear, this lady's got a strong marketing game. I want to welcome Jenna Gaidusek, AI and render educator, mentor, and a virtual interior designer. Welcome to the show, Jenna.
Thank you for having me. And what an intro. I'm assuming you wrote that.
I did.
It was nice. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm so excited to chat with you. So Jenna, we're talking about how to use AI to market your business. But before we get into it, I gave you a bit of an intro, but I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell our listeners what it is that you do.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me. I have known Masha, for like 5 years now?
It's gotta be 5 years.
How long it is? Since like pre-COVID? It's crazy.
Yes, you were one of my first clients actually when I started my business. Yes.
Oh, that's wild. It's been so cool to see you just grow and be on everybody's podcasts and shows and trainings. It's so cool. And so I'm very grateful to be here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
So I guess I'll give a little background of kind of like how I got here, which kind of relates to like the content that I post and, why I post those types of things. So I started with virtual design when I left my corporate job in 2016. I was working in New York City as an introvert and as somebody that just always wanted to get back to the design space, working in the corporate world and managing furniture showrooms. I was like, this is not it for me. So I quit and I started working for these e-design companies. And going back to being a 90s kid, I always loved Sims and I always loved redecorating my room and all of these things. So not being able to do that was killing me inside. So I had to get back to doing that and creating visual graphics. And so back then I was using, programs like Photoshop and just creating these two-dimensional concept boards for my clients. People started asking me on social media, other designers, how are you doing that? And how did you get into e-design in general? So I ended up leaving the virtual companies that I was working for at the time because I was getting enough business on my own after launching my own website, which I built by myself without knowing any information about any of these things using Squarespace. So from there, I started this community called eDesign Tribe, and it was a Facebook group, which came with education and then a rendering platform and all of the things. And then that was acquired actually in 2021, 2022. It's all a blur now. Post-COVID, I don't even know anymore what the years are. So always wanting to be, cutting edge with technology and always looking for the best ways to communicate with our clients and the most efficient ways to run a business. It just was the natural step for me to get into AI. I was using it already and exploring it for myself with my own clients over the past year. So I had to, train myself, figure out processes, procedures, where to use AI, when not to use AI. And I'm obviously still figuring it out because every day it changes. But it was something that I could teach designers because I love teaching designers. I always have, and bringing people together in the community and kind of being like, this isn't that scary when you know how to utilize it and you're using it as a tool and not a replacement. So that's kind of where we are today. I'm still practicing as an interior designer. I do a lot of new construction virtually in Florida, but I also have some local clients and all these other things. So every single time I'm like, how can I make this process better for my clients? And I do like postmortems and I'm like, okay, here's an opportunity for more efficient, like client collaboration process, and bringing in visuals and graphics that way really helps to tell a story before we even get to designing. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And that's a little bit of the history, but that's also why I still share things about rendering tips, because I still render. Like, AI hasn't replaced that. I still have to render these things. And I just am such a nerd when it comes to like all the latest tech that I just want to share it with people. So that's what you're going to see with some pretty pictures sprinkled in on my Instagram.
I love that. Thanks so much for that intro. So it sounds like AI is not, you're not using AI in a silo. It's to supplement what it is that you do to help you do things better and more effectively.
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay, so that's great. That's a great segue into what we're talking about today. So I'm seeing a lot of amazing things that you do on your Instagram. How would you describe your marketing strategy? If you see it as a strategy, how would you describe it? And what is the goal? What are you trying to achieve?
So taking a couple steps back on my Instagram, I started it when I started this company in 2015, 2016. Didn't know anything about Instagram. Still probably don't know half the things about Instagram.
Do we ever?
I know, seriously, nobody knows. So I started doing it back then, and everything is just kind of, I've always done my own thing. Like, I don't care about algorithms. I don't care about, like what people are going to think. Like, for a while, I didn't show my face, like forever, because I just had 2 babies, didn't really want to show up for that. So now though, I'm like, who cares? Like, I'm just going to share whatever I want. And my whole thing is I need for this year is more. So the more I share, and I've given myself a challenge to post every single day. So it's like my AI interior inspo challenge that I'm doing, because I'm generating hundreds, actually thousands, Midjourney told me yesterday, thousands of images using AI. Why am I not sharing these beautiful spaces with people? So my goal for 2024 is to share at least one inspirational image every single day in conjunction with the reels and the other training things and just like funny things I like to share. But I don't do it for, like the clout. I do it because I enjoy doing it and it's fun for me. And I really don't care what other people think. I'm just having fun.
I like that. So you're being a little bit rebellious, but I love that. So what are you hoping to achieve at the end? What are you hoping that it does? You showing up every single day, participating in this challenge. I'm assuming this challenge is kind of something that you just came up with for yourself.
Yes, because, and I forgot to just mention this, when I was working on building eDesign Tribe, I kind of let my social and my Instagram just like lapse for like a year. It was there, but like I didn't work on building it for a very long time. So coming back into all of this last year, I was kind of like, oh, I'll post here and there. And, I'll share rendering tips. And I was training regularly with rendering stuff with my Doma. But now I'm like, I'm going to post every single day. I don't care if people like it. I don't do it for the likes. I am doing it because the number of times that I'm going to post will pay off. And I can tell you, we're at the end of March right now. It is already paying off. Like, I literally am seeing results. I mean, yesterday I had a post that I shared to my Instagram, but I also put it on my creator account on my Facebook, had over 500 likes, like overnight. That's for crazy. A kitchen design that I shared, right? Like, wow. I was just sharing it anyway, because it's pretty. And then all of a sudden, like, people started sharing it and it started taking off. I don't care if it brings me clients right away. I am planting seeds with this daily posting strategy. And it's just fun. Like, I just want to inspire people, even if they don't like it, which people just don't like stuff anymore on social media. I don't care. They're seeing it. And that's all that matters, because it's helping me to sell courses, helping me to get clients. Like, even people I know that see me posting every day, they're like, commenting on the pictures that I share that they really like. And they're like, I got to be calling you. I have projects to do. That's just the bug in their ear that they need to see every day for whenever they're ready to actually work with me.
I like that. So it sounds like the makeup of your audience is like half, or maybe it's not half, like a percentage of it is designers, percentage of it is the homeowners that are, that you might be working with down the road. Is that so?
Yeah, until this year when, AI for interior designers and all of these guest appearances and panels that I'm doing really started taking off, it was, I'd say 50-50. Now it's probably more 75% designers, 25% potential clients. Facebook has more, well, Facebook's 50-50. I guess it depends on the platform. So Instagram is more 75% designers, 25% homeowners.
That's interesting. So what kind of feedback are you getting from both groups or from either of the groups on the work that you've been doing, on what you've been showing to your audience?
It's just the comments where it's like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that, or that's so inspiring. And it's like, yes, and I always say, this is AI. We literally always disclose. And if somebody comments, which you get the randoms that'll see your post because it's public on Facebook, and they'll be like, oh, I don't like those bar stools. So I always comment and I'm like, well, it's AI. So in real life, we probably would have done something different, but just to educate, but they're seeing these things and it is inspiring them, and it is creating conversation both between designers and homeowners that are like, ooh, I need that for my laundry room next time. Just starting to gather these ideas kind of come to me as that go-to for the daily posting.
I like that. And okay, so that's cool. So you're using AI in a very serious way. How can interior designers, what would be your tip for interior designers who've never done that, who are just scared of this technology or app? What kind of tip would you give them to get started? What could they try or experiment with?
Yeah, so there's a few there's quite a lot of free versions. ChatGPT 3.5 is free. Okay, so you can just sign up for that. If you don't want to create images, ask it what to make for dinner. Like, just get started with that. Like, don't get too serious about it. Log into ChatGPT or even Copilot, which is through the Microsoft browser. You can do it that way. I use that all the time. And there's Gemini as well. I just happen to use Microsoft Edge, or Bing. So it's integrated, but that also utilizes ChatGPT and DALL-E. So just open up ChatGPT or one of these programs that's in your browser and just be like, what's for dinner? And it's going to give you recipes. It's going to give you
ideas, a starting point,
intelligent insight. Yeah. Ideas. Yeah. So if you're nervous about where do I even start with it in my design, get acclimated with just your day-to-day life, how can you use it for that? I don't cook anything. So when I'm like, okay, here's the ingredients that we have in our fridge, what are some ideas? Do it in a place that it doesn't feel stressful. It doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, just one more thing I have to know. Use it like you would just ask Google something, and it's going to spit you back 10 times the amount of detail and answers.
So personal use first, and then slowly introduce once you see the capabilities of that. I love that approach. I've actually tried it. One of the first things I did was, here's the equipment for gym, what I have downstairs in my basement, what kind of give me a workout plan based on what I have, instead of giving me all kinds of things that I don't have access to. So that was cool. So I like that tip. Yeah. So start with personal, see what the thing is capable for. What's next? Should they experiment with one AI tool or try out a couple based on what they need?
So I do a lot of one-on-one trainings. A lot of firms, a lot of designers just contact me for an hour or 2 hours with their team. And so my goal is to figure out, what do you do in your business? How can I look for the holes, right? I'm like, here's where this program would work really well for you. Here's where this program could potentially also work really well for you. If you don't want to do all that, I get it. I would start with ChatGPT Plus. Okay, so you upgrade to ChatGPT Plus for $20 a month. You get the latest version of ChatGPT 4, which is actually programmed through April of 2023. So it trained it on all the information that it could find up until April of 2023. It also
pretty current.
Yes, pretty current. It also integrates with DALL-E. So you could be having a whole chat conversation with ChatGPT, and then be like, okay, make me a picture of that. And that's where DALL-E will come into that chat thread and make the picture for you. You can't get that on the free version. You do have to upgrade for $20 a month to Plus. highly worth it. I'd say that's a great place to start. From there, you can start adding, customized GPTs. And I've got a whole suite of those. I will actually be releasing those to designers so that they can use them personally, because I've been training them for months now and they're just about ready. So these would be for things like, I need to create an opt-in for my interior design business, a lead generator. Give me ideas. So I've programmed a customized GPT for interior designers to basically take your information from your business, you give it a little profile, and then it spits back like 10 different creative opt-in ideas, and then I'll even write it for you. So obviously, like, you're not gonna hopefully do all of that, but like, you're gonna interject yourself and change the wording and all of that and bring your level of expertise. But it's a starting point for designers that don't even know where to begin. That's the power of this tool and the GPTs that come with it. So just getting started, though, to go back to your original question, upgrade to Plus with ChatGPT, because you're gonna get so much more included in that membership.
100%. I love that. And opt-in is such a great idea, especially because we all need to grow our email list. We should be collecting our customers' emails. So that's a great starting point. So we've got renders, we've got opt-ins. Anything else from marketing, from what you've been doing or from what you've seen others do that designers can do to kind of up their marketing game?
Mm-hmm. So one of the first GPTs that I built for myself is called the hashtag guru, and I made it for Instagram. So every day when I post my stuff, I'm so bad about scheduling it. I was scheduling it when I first started doing this, and now I just like flying by the seat of my pants, post every single day. So it's whatever I've been working on, though. So, I'm always creating every single day some kind of AI. So what I do is I take my picture that I want to share that day. I upload it to this custom GPT that I built. It knows immediately that it needs to create 30 hashtags based off of the image that it sees, because they analyze the images, right? So it creates 30 hashtags for me. I kind of go through those, sift them, find the ones that are like really relevant, and then don't use all 30. But I take those. It also provides alt text. So the text that describes the image that you can put, in your blog posts, on Pinterest, on Facebook, on Instagram. This is just like doubling down on your SEO to have those words that would also potentially pop up in like a Google search or anywhere else. So it gives me the alt text, and then it gives me a starting point for a caption. I built that in there. I don't actually use it, but if I was ever stuck for words, I possibly could, but I built it for other designers to use this soon, and give them a starting point for what to post if you can't find the words. I do use all of my own captions for every single thing that I write on Instagram because I want it to be human. I also tend to leave in a lot of typos kind of on purpose, because then
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. First of all, I've always done it. It's always been a problem of mine. But now somebody called me out on it during the Business of Home presentation the other week. And I was like, I did that on purpose just for you guys, because then it wasn't written by AI. It literally came out of my mind. So like, I use it for ideas, but also I leave these little gems in there so that it's like, oh, AI would never have done that. So that like I literally did write this. It wasn't just AI. It came from,
because you want to humanize your brand. You want to
Yes.
make it so personal.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Jenna, you said I built custom ChatGPT. Can you explain what that means? It's not just you. Maybe others understand. I have no idea what that means. Is that you using ChatGPT or you building something in ChatGPT?
Yeah. So
Be able to use it in your business?
Yep. With ChatGPT Plus, there's a few ways to do this. Number one, there's a store. So basically there's like programs, and anybody using ChatGPT can create their own GPT, right? So it's basically what they do is they're trained on whatever material you've provided, and they do that one or two things very, very well. Okay, so like instead of going to the general Chat GPT and just being like, here's all my questions, and then like hopefully it remembers everything, this one has been trained specifically to do something in a way that you want to receive the information. So going back to that hashtag one, I say, here's the image. I programmed it to be like, every time I upload an image, you immediately give me this, this, and this, right? So the alt text, the caption, and then the hashtags. But I need you to also put it in a format where I can click copy as like a text box, and then it copies it to my clipboard, and then I can just bring it over to paste it on Instagram. So I've specifically said that. Now, if I were to go to the regular chat, just start fresh, it wouldn't know these things. Like I would have to be like, okay, I need you to do blah, 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 blah. Here's the image. Okay, now I need you to fix this and do that. This one consistently every single time will give me what I need in the format that I need it because I've trained it that way.
Oh, that makes so much sense. So it's almost like you're creating the foundation instead of reprompting every single time and starting a new conversation and, prompting all the things to remind you, this is what I do. This is who I serve. These are all the things. So it's almost like in Canva, what we do, if whoever is using Canva, you're building like a brand kit. So, the templates that you produce, it's all in your fonts, it's all in your colors, and you don't need to start from scratch every time.
Yeah, great connection. I love that. Canva also has a GPT in the store. Okay, so like I said, you get access to this store. So Canva's basically you open up their customized GPT and you type in like the graphic that you want to create in Canva and what it needs on it, what the format is. It creates a template in this GPT and then points you over to Canva to complete your design. So there's going to be other programs in there that do this, like video editors, video summarizers. I mean, like there's so many because OpenAI, who owns ChatGPT and DALL-E, wants everybody to create something. So now you get companies, you get independent users, you get all these people that are creating these custom GPTs and they make theirs go public so everybody can use them. And it's technically training them so that they get smarter and stronger with everybody using them. I keep mine private, but give them a link and a training is what I will be releasing here soon for every single one of the ones that I've created. So they're not public for everybody. They're also not trained specifically on my business. They're trained on techniques and procedures to help designers get their end results. So they're vague in that like you're not going to find the branding, though if you were to do your own customized GPT, absolutely put in your information, all that stuff as it pertains to you and your style, your whatever you want to see for your business. But the ones that I have are just very vague and they help with, everybody to reach whatever that end goal is going to be.
That's cool. Did I hear you right that you help other interior designers create their own ChatGPT for their business their own GPT for their business?
So I train that in one of my core classes, which is ChatGPT. So it's for beginners. It's like, how do you open the program? How do you start the program? What are some examples of the things that you can do inside? I've got a design assistant. I've got a blogging buddy. I've got one that helps me write a name, a caption that is SEO friendly for all the products in my print on demand store. So I've customized things as I start working in my business. And I'm like, I don't need to be doing this. I can ask ChatGPT, I can build a GPT to do this consistently how I want it every single time. And I don't need to sit here and come up with captions and names for every single product that I sell in my e-commerce store.
I love that. That's so smart. And that's kind of like an alternative to outsourcing to a freelancer to do all of these things for you. What else, aside from marketing, what else do you use AI for to make your life and business a little easier?
Just like everything.
Like that.
I design. I don't spell well. Like grammar's not. My sister has an English.
That's not your zone of genius. It doesn't have to be.
No, it's yours. So
yeah.
So I, if I have a email that I have to send to somebody, I'm like, oh, that just does not sound right. Like I will run it through and just be like, make this sound better, or like make this sound a certain way. And I know a lot of other designers do that too. Or if you get frequently asked questions to specific topics, they will, put all those questions in, create auto replies that they could then, have on deck and ready to just send out to people. So that's just a one way that people typically get started. Honestly, that's what people are usually doing because there's so many integrations with like Grammarly, or Copilot actually is like on any web page. So if you're typing stuff, it'll be like, do you want to rewrite this? And it'll pop up as a sidebar anywhere that you're typing stuff on the internet.
Is that something you install or it just automatically comes with that?
I think it just comes with my browser. So it's just, I did an update one day and it was here.
Like a plugin of some sort. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it's part of the search. So like if you go to Copilot and then you open up like your copilot.microsoft.com, that's the site. And you just start chatting with it because it is connected to ChatGPT 4 technically, and DALL-E. You can create images on here too. There's like a vacation
So it's similar
planner.
to like Grammarly that pops up on
Mhm.
your Google Sheets.
Yeah, both of them
Very
actually
cool.
both of them pop up for me because I have Grammarly for like all my internet stuff, and then this one too. So I've got a couple of options.
That's cool. So you've mentioned a whole bunch of different tools, and I was writing them down. Any favorites that you use?
Yeah, ChatGPT. Yeah, I use that, every day. Like it's always open on my browser. But Midjourney is
Mm-hmm.
that was secondly what I started with after ChatGPT because Dolly didn't exist. And Dolly is ChatGPT plus is like text to image generator. So it's just like baked into the program where you could be having a conversation and then say, make the image of this. But Midjourney creates insanely realistic ideas. So, and it gives you 4 different options. You can kind of play around with your prompts. But I also create seamless textures in there. So that's like a starting point for my print on demand products where I'll create a piece of art or a seamless texture in Midjourney or Dolly. I'll bring it over to Photoshop. I'll mess around with it. And then I create custom color palettes or designs and pillows and all the textiles for my clients' projects, all starting with the imagery that I create on Dolly or Midjourney.
So my own experience tells me that if you want something really good, like a good result, prompt is everything. Do you have some type of tip that is so important to consider or think about when you're prompting AI? What's the number one thing that you have to input so you don't get something generic back?
I actually do have a full prompt guide. It's over 40 pages because I couldn't find the words all the time. So I started to just write down all the different rooms, all the different design styles, every like element that I could potentially put into a space, like kitchen details, like just words, just like finding words and phrases to add to my prompt. So I created this prompt engineering like guide, and basically you start with the design, you add your style, you add your room, and then you start to add these different details. What I do recommend is that you start with like 1 to 3 sentences, like just get it out there, see what it generates, and either add more detail or remove certain things. So it's kind of like building the prompt to be able to receive the imagery that you're actually looking for in return. And there is a little bit of play because every time you prompt, it's going to be different. So it's always going to create different imagery, and knowing like what to add, when to add it, and then what to remove is definitely really beneficial. So that's what my prompt guide does.
Amazing. So is that prompt guide available for
It
purchase?
is. It's $49.99, and you don't need it if you're in my Midjourney class. There's a version in there, but this prompt guide covers all generative AI. So you could use this prompt guide to build prompts for any of these generative AI programs across the board.
So amazing. That's great. So Jenna, this is something that I ask all of my listeners, but I would love to know what has been one practice or habit that you implemented in your life or business that has been a game changer?
Outsourcing. So it's funny that you would say, oh, well, you could probably like have your GPT do that. And that's very true. Sometimes I do build GPTs specifically for tasks that I'm outsourcing to one of my VAs. I will be like, here's a bot that I built. Here's how I want it done. Now I need you to just use it to, put the SEO behind my images on my website. Whatever that might be, to also help me create like the SEO and the names and titles for my e-commerce collection. So I will build these GPTs, but it doesn't replace the person that I'm outsourcing it to. It just simplifies it and makes sure that it's done in the way that I want it done. And it takes out a lot of the guesswork. So utilizing GPT and also outsourcing specific tasks has just freed up my time to be able to create more and produce more of the things that I actually want to do. And that's like the core education, going to these events and stuff, but not having to compromise on these little tasks that mean a lot. SEO means a lot, especially now when all of these programs are pulling and sourcing from blogs. That this is where they got the information. It's never been more important than now to blog, in my opinion. So if you can't do it, hire out, create a GPT, do whatever you got to do, but don't take on it by yourself. Like have somebody else help you, and you're going to get to where you want to be a lot faster.
Love that. What a great advice. This has been so great, Jenna. Where can designers find you if they want to reach out or follow you?
Yeah. So my Instagram is jenna.gaidusek. There's also one for AI for interior designers, but I admittedly haven't focused on that one that much yet. There's a few things there, but you can go visit aiforinteriordesigners.com, and there's free resources, there's classes, there's templates, all of the stuff. That's where you're going to find that.
Amazing. Thanks so much for being here and for sharing so much great stuff.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Marketing for Designers. This is Masha Cohen signing off. See you next week.